Hello, this is the first of a few different videos I'm going to do regarding 24 scope, as I think many people have found now that there's quite a few people that still don't understand how to use this, even though scope's been out for many years now and it's had plenty of new adaptations. So whether you've been using scope for a while or if you're brand new to it, it's good something to keeping up on. So yeah, we'll have a little talk through it and we'll get a basic understanding of what scope is. So 24scope is the primary radar client for ATC24 alongside 24 radar, 24 spy and a few other smaller groups, but to the best of my knowledge most people use 24scope. When you first come in, there's a lot of words, there's a lot of lines, there's a lot of things to look at. It might seem quite confusing, but I'm sure after this video and the other ones you will understand a lot easier about what is going on. So, as I move these out of the way, each line and each word corresponds to the aircraft in ATC24. So, if we move over to one aircraft over here, this aircraft here, we can see their call sign. So Pan America 4678. So that's the registration of the call sign of the aircraft. 227, which is the current speed of the aircraft. And then 024, which is the current height of the aircraft. So every aircraft will have this registration. If we double click, sorry. In fact, if we left click even, right click, whatever you want to call it. Then it brings up a little bit more information. So we've got remarks about the aircraft, we've got their departures, we've also got the aircraft type here. If we click on the aircraft, press shift, press F, then that'll bring up the flight plan. Obviously, because I'm not controlling the aircraft, it's not bring up the flight plan information, but on the other videos going over ground, tower, and sensor, this will go into a bit more depth. So each airport has their own section. So if we press the little radar symbol at the top, go to an airport, let's go to Perth. So each airport, you'll find the ICAOs, you can search them on Google or someone will tell you. So you click each one. So this is Perth. So this will automatically drag you to the airport you pick. So go back to here. And this is now Perth. You can pick your facility, so ground, tower, and center. So, for example, I go to ground. If I zoom out a bit, you start to lose the taxi. Zoom back in. Now you can see the taxi again. So, say I was on ground, I'd sit here, I'd watch what's coming in. I can see planes come in, I can see planes come out. Most of the time, we will keep an eye on. So, again, if I were on an aircraft, shift F. We can see the flight plan, have a chat with them. Zooming back out, we can see there's a few different options at the top. So, your position, so you're currently on Perth ground, the call sign or the frequency you're on, so 121.7, that's the Perth ground frequency. Chart packs, we'll come back over this later on. We have the ATIS information. Now currently Scope's ATIS is a little bit funky. Sometimes it doesn't want to work, sometimes it does. When it says ATIS, it'll have a letter at the start, and that will be the identification of the ATIS, so currently information uniform. Down here it's a bit delayed, so it still says it's Victor, which is actually wrong at the time. But this can be changed by tower. If you check on the Discord, it will have the up-to-date information. Next one on QuickSet. This is where you will find your settings. So we can change the font size. So I could make it bigger. As you can see, it gets bigger. And I can then make it smaller. And so for the waypoints, but we'll go over that in a minute. Then we have rendering, so this gives us a few different options to customize our scope. So leader lines, we can turn them on and off. That just gives you an idea of where the aircraft is going. Fixes, so you can either press F on your keyboard, or you can press draw fixes. This is the waypoint, so a fix is a waypoint. So if another player is using, or a pilot is using the waypoints, you can say November 75 Oscar India, ascend 2011 by Tinder. So that means that they descend in their climb, and they'd be level by the waypoint Tinder. High ground traffic. So if you're controlling center, let's take this bit. If you're controlling center, then it won't show aircraft on the ground. If you go over to Rockford, see there's loads of aircraft. High ground gets rid of them. So you only show the aircraft that are in the air. Approach boundaries, so again, this is just for frequencies, you won't use that very often. And then island outlines currently doesn't work. Brilliant. Keybinds, this is a brand new update to Scope that actually came out today. We had about an hour downtime in Scope, which caused a few problems. But this is all just customizable to yourself. You can do whatever you like with these, have a play about, find what you want to use. Miscellaneous, so your themes, you could have all sorts of different themes. I like to stick with the standard, just it's my preference, but there's all sorts you can go off on here, so depending on what you like. Chat at the bottom, there's a chat for all ATCs to communicate with each other. You might find that useful, or you can go into the frequency and have a chat with them there. And then performance and special effects, that's all just your own thing. And you've also got a theme builder. I'm not going to go into depth with that, but if you want to have a play with that, be my guest. Events, so you won't need to worry about this unless you're an event ATC, and if you're an event ATC watching this video, I'm disappointed in you. And then it's the about section. I do urge you to have a look at the credits and stuff, and there's some information on the Discord and the documents that you can have a go over. So that's your settings, easy peasy. Now we'll move over the runway symbol. As you can see here, there's a few dotted lines. So this is your ILS or your localizer, or glide path, depending on what you want to call it. So this will help you to line up the aircraft for the approach on this runway. If you want to line one up, you need to make sure you click one of these boxes on the left. That'll highlight them all. And then whichever runway is your arrivals, so we could say 29er and 15. And that'll bring up the lead lines on both. If you just put one departure, it doesn't really matter. But it's also just something to remind you which runways are your arrivals and which ones are your departures. Open flight plan, so this is just another plane Shift F. So when I click on an aircraft, you can see at the top, it brings up their identification, so it brings up their roadblock's name, their call sign, and then you can also press FPL there. And then you've got some zoom buttons, easy peasy. And for vectoring aircraft, you have something called your leader. So if you double click with your mouse, or on a tablet if you're using something like that, it will come up with this magic green line. We have 3 pieces of information on the magic green line. You have the one that's changing at the bottom, so that pivots from the first mouse point. So you can see that could be 180, it could be 280, it could be anything that you like. The number in the middle that slowly changes is your nautical mile distance. So the distance of Rockford across would be 30 nautical miles. And then the heading at the top is the opposite heading. You won't use that very often. When you're guiding an aircraft, you'll use the heading that pivot from the mouse. So if we used Speedbird 2100 as an example, I double click from their current position. If I wanted to direct them to Grindavik, I'd move it to where I want them to go, or to the next waypoint, and then give them the call Speedbird 2100, left turn heading 285, and then you do it. Or if you want to use waypoints, you could go 2100, once index, left turn heading 305, and then they turn when they get to that waypoint. It's actually getting quite busy down at Perth now. And then these top 2 here, so you have a departure list, so you can see now this aircraft has brought up their flight plan, and we can now see that. So we have their call sign, their aircraft type, where they're going from, where they're going to, their altitude, their score, and the route they have chosen. Sometimes it might say GPS direct, sometimes it might say nothing, in which case it would be a GPS direct flight. So we have our departure list, we also have an arrival list. We'll go over the departure and arrival lists when we talk about ground. But other than that, it's a basic understanding of scope. You'll pick it up quite quickly. It's a lot easier once you've had a go. I do urge you to just spend some time, press some buttons and figure it out. If you make something go wrong, then learn to fix it yourself. But other than that, thank you for watching. This is actually the first video, and there'll be many more to come. If you've got any tips you would like to give other people, or tips to give me, I urge you to put them in the comments, and I really appreciate that. And like everyone always says, just like and subscribe. Brilliant. But yeah, thank you.